Hi, hello, hi. So what are we doing today exactly? Glad you asked. Today, what I want to do is take you on a tour of my first ever sketchbook. Before we get into this, I want you to know that my birth name is all over this sketchbook. I made a whole video about my birth name, and I don't know if that will come out before or after this video, but I'm just letting you know I am okay with people seeing my birth name. I am not afraid of my birth name. It does not threaten me in any way whatsoever. So don't worry about my birth name being exposed. So without further ado, let's cut to the other screen. It's sketchbook touring time. So this was my very first sketchbook. I was in 3rd grade, I think. I was 9 when I made all of these, 9 or 10. It was the first time I ever drew. Did you all have those Scholastic book things when you were in school, like the Scholastic book catalogs? I think this might only be a Canadian thing. It's like a catalog that you would get in class, and you like circle the book you want and you pay for it, and then it comes in like a week or something later. It always feels like it's like 100 years, but yeah, they order books for you. Well, my brother had ordered this book on how to draw manga, and I just started copying the drawings that I saw in the book. I wasn't tracing, I would just look at the drawings in the book and try to recreate them. And that's basically what this is. Some of them are recreations of drawings that I saw in the book. Some of them are me using what I learned from the book to make my own manga drawings. I feel a bit weird about this. I feel a bit like culturally appropriative, but I was 9 and didn't know what cultural appropriation was. I hope this doesn't come across as fetishizing any other cultures. I, again, was a 9-year-old and was just drawing what I saw. Clearly my art style has developed since then, and this was just a starting point for me to get to where I was. But yeah, just hopefully I don't get too much heat for that. You know, I get a lot of comments on my art videos or on my art posts where people are like, oh, I wish I could draw and all this stuff, and I just want people to know I've not always been good at drawing. Even now, sometimes when I draw things, they don't look good the first time, and I really need to work on it and tweak it until it looks right. I have a visual problem. I have one eye that's almost entirely blind but casts a ghost image over the other eye, but it's not aligned, so it makes it that things are distorted in my vision, and when I'm trying to draw from observation, that distortion really comes through. Or even when I'm trying to draw from my mind, what I'm looking at when I'm making the marks on the paper isn't always what it actually looks like. So sometimes I have to flip it upside down, or I need to look at it in a mirror in order to catch that distortion. So yeah, just wanted to let you all know, practice makes perfect, and everyone starts somewhere. So, without further ado, here's my art. So this is probably the first thing I ever drew. August 8th, 2004. Why? So it looks like a slice of pizza. This isn't meant to insult anyone except myself. I hope you are not insulted. Got some nice little brickwork happening there. In the background, I see we're painting a picture here. Oh, that's a color. That is a skin tone, I guess. Yeah, August 9th, 2004. At least I knew how to write in cursive. So my shading was not the smoothest. My line work was not the smoothest. And as you can see, the distortion that I have in my vision is to the right. So it's really funny because if you cover the right side of most of these drawings, it's not that bad, and you could actually see where the distortion is. I had my first surgery when I was 6, and that was in 2000 or 2001. So yeah, this wasn't too long after. But yeah, you could kind of see where the distortion starts to happen because things start to like lean one way. Oh, that's kind of cute. God, such a weeb. All right, I see. Experimenting with some thicker lines there. Really smooth shading. I definitely stayed within the lines. My fine motor skills were not that developed. Why? Look at his tiny shoulders. It's so little, it looks, his head would just fall over. He'd be like dragging it on the ground, like walking like this. I hope this doesn't hurt anyone's feelings or insult them. It's not to be mean. If I would see a kid drawing this, I would be like, that's really good, and I would be very proud of them, but I just love to roast myself. Partially because all of this is anime, but also just, I don't know, teeny tiny eyebrows. It's just interesting to see where I started and where I've come from. I mean, if I flipped through this book and just praised my 9-year-old self the whole time, that would be arrogant. But then if I make fun of myself, that's also arrogant because it's mean. What if this is the way that some people draw? And it's totally acceptable. You're allowed to draw this way. It's just for myself. I just find these shoulders to be a little bit comical. Oh, all right. We took a big step here. I remember being really proud of this one because all the other ones in this book, aside from like some of the details on the first page, all the other ones in this book I had just looked at my brother's manga book and tried to replicate. But this was the first one that I took what I learned from those other drawings and I drew from my head. Yeah, I was really happy with this. I have a little bit of background happening. We're like painting a story here. She has her sword. I mean, oh, that's a slow zoom. She has some titty action happening. But yeah, that's cool. That shows some creativity in me as a kid, which I'm always really hard on myself as an artist because I always felt like I wasn't creative. And I feel like I've only recently begun engaging in creativity. I don't know, I felt like I had a creative block for a long time and I was just too literal to be an artist. So yeah, this is cool. A little imagination happening. Okay, all right. So here we have this. So this is a dragon I think I was drawing from looking at a reference image, and if I remember correctly, this one I wasn't. It's just interesting to see the difference between the two, because like this dragon is really not that bad. It's a pretty cool dragon, you know, especially for like a 9-year-old. But then there's this. Who hurt you? It's funny because clearly I learned this leg shape from observation, and then I just thought that that was the leg shape. Like there wasn't the logic in my head yet at that age to understand that the leg is shaped this way because of the bone structure. I would just draw things the way they looked on the outside without taking anatomy into consideration, which means when they're flying, I thought that this round shape still applied, when in fact it doesn't. That this doesn't make any sense anatomically. But yeah, that's just interesting how kids' brains work, that it's like, oh, that looks cool, but then if you ask me to change the position, I have no actual concept of this character existing within a 3D space, you know? I could only see it from one dimension. Edgy. That is a little teeny tiny arm. I mean, I could definitely roast myself for this for a long time, especially these little hot dog fingers, and also this streetlight that is proportionably questionable. I mean, I understand I probably drew this first, clearly up to here, drew the character, and then wanted to add the streetlight, but I didn't have enough room on the page, so I just put it wherever, without realizing like I could just have this pole go off the page and it's totally fine. Also, it's also interesting to see that I understood that like clothing has lines where there are like folds, but not actually understanding why clothing folds and why lines would be where they are. Ooh, moody. Alright, this is a... Okay, so this is a thing. Her tears are kind of like flying off to the side there, and they're kind of falling directly down on her face. Just a little tip here, if you are drawing tears. Usually you want them to roll down the cheeks, and in doing that, the shape that the tears go in when they're going down the face really help to give your character dimension, to make it feel like this is actually a 3-dimensional character and not just a 2D flat image. So yeah, I understand in my brain drawing them directly down because I'm thinking gravity, but in reality, what would have made this a lot more effective, I guess, would be if they just traced the shape of the face, you know, a little tear rolls down, that'd be cool. We're still not understanding anatomy here. Drawing a face because I know how to copy a face from the book, but not understanding where the shoulders would go, how big they would be, why they would be that size. So just giving her these little tiny itty bitty shoulders, which structurally make no sense with her head. Still added with the tiny shoulders that have not at all changed when this character changed perspective. It's a very thick neck for little shoulders. Oh, interesting. Okay, alright. Okay. So first of all, his head is going to fall onto the ground. His poor tiny body cannot support that head. Secondly, I have no idea what he's holding. But what's interesting here is my use of aerial perspective at such a young age. I think that's interesting. Understanding that as things get further back, they become fainter, and that they also become smaller, and that shrinking the size of something gives you the impression of depth. I think that's pretty cool for a 9-year-old. Again, I hate this because I feel like I'm either being really arrogant, or if I roast myself, I'm going to hurt someone's feelings because this is maybe what their art looks like. So I don't know what to do here. Listen, I'm trying to be the best of both worlds. Why are the sides of his head so concave? Again, we have my visual issue where if you block it like this, it's not so bad. But then the other side starts to, you know, it's interesting because looking at these images, you're seeing pretty much, aside from like the distorted drawing style of a child, you kind of are able to see here what the image looks like to me when I'm looking at it. Because that's what I was drawing. I was drawing exactly what I saw. We have some fun colors on this one. This is an interesting character. Again, she's leaning, like you kind of just want to do this to her and maybe like bend her legs a little, but now I feel less like she's off balance. Here, it feels a bit like she's doing like the Michael Jackson lean. Okay, so, oh, alright. Clearly drew this from my head because there is absolutely no perspective in this drawing. Something interesting about the way that children draw that my drawing teacher taught me was that when kids draw, they're drawing what they know. They're not always drawing what they see. So when a child draws a table or a chair, they're likely going to draw all four legs of the table or chair, regardless as to whether or not those legs are in sight. That's why you end up with like these squares with a bunch of legs spread out that look almost like spiders. This is an example of that because I was trying to draw a tiled floor and I couldn't understand why this wasn't working because I was like, it's tiled, that's what a tiled floor looks like. But when you're drawing something two-dimensional in order to give the impression of 3 dimensions, like literally imagine that I had actually measured these lines properly. You see how it gets smaller as it gets further back? That's perspective. Maybe one day I'll make an actual video where I actually teach you how to do it and don't just like freehand and oversimplify the heck out of everything. But yeah, just for now to explain to you why this doesn't work or make any sense and why it is confusing. Fun fact, I'm pretty sure I drew this character based off of a boy I had a crush on. Not terrible. Clearly there's a little bit of improvement here from the beginning of the book, I guess. Another interesting thing to note, from observing these drawings, clearly I understood that there's supposed to be a dip here where your eye is, but I didn't understand why. I know now, as an adult, that this is supposed to be your cheekbone and it goes in a bit where the eye socket is and then it comes out where the cheekbone is. This is much too low, much too sharp. Doesn't really make sense with the rest of the face because this is the corner of the jaw, so your cheekbone wouldn't be perfectly aligned with the corner of your jaw, but it kind of looks like I combined where your eye socket is, like, and where the cheekbone is with where the bottom of your jaw is to just make one. But anyway, it was a good try. Oh, edgy. Good. Great. I remember being pretty happy with this little hand here. It took me a while to get that to look the way I wanted, so I was pretty happy with that at the time. There's a lot of boob happening. Anyway, this is a bit of an EDS mood. Those legs look, what is happening? Why does it look like there's a joint back here when the knee's here? And also knees don't go that way. This looks like I tried to replicate a drawing from directly inside my book again, because there are some details here that I know I probably wouldn't have thought to add myself. But yeah, it's interesting when you're drawing every isolated part, like I'm gonna draw a shoe, and I'm gonna draw this part of the leg, and then I'm going to draw the shorts. When you do that detached drawing style, you could see where sometimes things don't fall together properly. And that's why it's important to take anatomy into account, even if you're drawing a cartoon. Make a skeleton for your cartoon so that you understand what their body shape is like underneath the flesh. Oh, I remember doing these. Kids were doing this thing where if you wanted something to look like graffiti, you would write a word like frontward, and then spin it around and write it upside down backward, and then I think write it like this way too. I don't know. You write your name like 2 or 3 different ways in highlighter so that it becomes like these bold letters, and then you just outline the negative space. Oh, here I tried to draw my guitar. I still have this guitar. I don't know if I was drawing this from observation. I'm just confused as to how I got this shape. Oh, probably because, again, as a kid, I draw one side, then I draw the other side, and then I just join them together. Somebody help this man. Those flowers are pretty nice, though. I mean, those aren't bad flowers. Come on, for like a 10-year-old, that's not terrible. This must be closer to when I was 10 because I started to get edgy and listen to My Chemical Romance and Simple Plan. And I remember having this, like a printout of this drawing on the wall in my room, this little printout, and yeah, I just drew this by looking at it. Okay, I don't know why. I guess this was, again, when I was like 10-ish, and being like, LOL so random was a thing. So I guess that's what I was trying to achieve here. I don't know. But that guitar is looking a little better than the first one. Again, the perspective of the body is quite off. This foot and this leg, like it doesn't make sense how his body would be connected. But I mean, look at that hand. That's a pretty decent hand for like 10. Aside from all this edgy stuff in the background, the link with Majora dancing in front of the moon was from Majora's Mask, obviously. So clearly Link was drawn from a reference. Not too sure about Majora over there. I think that's an improvement. Have little folds going on in the boots, that's cool. Looks like that's everything. So that's all for that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I don't know, I hope it was something. I just wanted to show you that improvement happens and everyone starts somewhere, and wherever you find your inspiration is where you find your inspiration. I mean, I was flat out just copying drawings out of a manga book when I started, so never give up. Takes a long time to get good, or I mean, some people are good immediately off the bat, and if that's you, then congratulations. But it took me a long time to get to where I am today, so I just wanted to show you that, show you where I started. Hopefully it'll give some people some hope, and if not, maybe it'll give you a good laugh. I'm thinking of going through all of my art through the years and just critiquing it, especially, oh man, especially my college art projects when I was in fine arts, and just critique them, because I think that would be fun. A lot of them are just such big moods, especially like such big trans moods. Anyway, let me know if you'd be interested in that, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and a great week, and you take care of yourselves. All right, thanks. Bye.